Today we'll be checking out our new plugin, that's the distributed denial of service firewall protection for the Magento 2 platform based web stores. Using this plugin, now the web store admin would be able to enable the distributed denial of service protection for their online stores and can set the firewall provider and the URL to trigger for the DDoS protection of their website. Now the admin can even set the average server load threshold and the RAM threshold, and if both of the server usage or the RAM usage is more than the configured value, then this particular plugin will automatically trigger the firewall protection. The admin can also enable the automatic email alert for the DDoS protection and can even set the email template for the same. Now, what is a DDoS attack? A scenario where your web store has been flooded with too much traffic that it cannot accommodate anymore is called as a distributed denial of service attack. And now, since the website is not in a state to function, it can be termed as denial of service. Moreover, the module helps the store owners to protect their websites using a firewall service provider. Now, within this plugin, right now we have only provided one of the firewall providers, that's the Cloudflare. In today's video tutorial, I'll just be taking you through the backend configuration of this particular DDoS protection or the what we say as the DDoS firewall protection for the Magento 2 platform-based web stores. And I'll be showing you how when the average server load threshold or the RAM usage threshold reaches that particular value that has been set from the backend configuration, how the Cloudflare firewall provider is activated and how the URL is triggered at the storefront on the front end for the customers before they access your websites. So before we proceed further, please do subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to receive the latest updates from our end. Apart from that, if you find this particular video helpful, then do kindly give it a thumbs up. So right now I've come to this particular section. To reach this section, you'll have to log into your admin backend panel and then navigate through source and then configuration. On the configuration page under the Webkul block, you'll have the distributed denial of service protection settings, as you can see, and under that we have the general settings and the email options as well. Now under the general settings, we have the general settings. Under the email options, we have the automatic email alerts that are sent out whenever the firewall is enabled, and you're able to enter the email address wherein that particular automatic email alert is sent to the admin or the one that is the concerned one. And this is the example of the automatic email alert that is sent out. As you can see, hello, due to high server usage, the DDoS protection has been enabled. So this particular email is sent out to the concerned one whose email address has been entered in the configuration settings under the email options there in the configuration of the plugin itself. So let's get back to the backend now. So first, let's check the email options. Here you can basically choose a yes or a no option for the automatic email alerts. And whenever the firewall security is enabled, the admin will be sent the email alerts if this field is set as yes. Otherwise, if no, then no automatic emails will be sent out to the admin on the email that you have entered here within the email to alert section. Then we have the firewall enabled template. Here the admin can select a template for the firewall enabled email. So you'll have to choose that from the default one. And lastly, you'll have to enter the email to alert, and here you will enter the email with the email alert for the DDoS would be sent out. Now coming to the general settings, here we have the very first option that you can see is to enable the auto DDoS protection. So here you can enable the automatic DDoS protection system, and the admin can enable it by choosing a yes option for that. Otherwise, to disable the auto distributed denial of service protection for your Magento 2 platform based web stores, you'll have to choose this option as a no. Otherwise, choose yes to enable the auto DDoS protection by choosing a yes for this particular option. Then we have the average server load threshold, and here you can set up the value as per your own requirement, and the admin needs to enter a server load value exceeding which the firewall protection will be activated. So I've set it to the minimum so as to give you an example or an overview at the front end whenever a customer accesses it, how the firewall automatically activates. So for that, I've set the average server load threshold to 10. Then we have the RAM usage threshold. The same goes for the RAM usage as well. So here the admin needs to enter a RAM usage threshold value exceeding which the firewall protection would be activated. So I've set it to 1500 of right now in megabytes right now. Then under the firewall provider, you'll have to choose the firewall provider service or the firewall service provider from here. So kindly note that currently the Cloudflare firewall service provided is supported in this particular plugin itself. Then we have the URL to trigger. So here the admin needs to enter the URL which will be triggered or which will trigger the firewall basically. So this is the URL that you need to set up for triggering up your firewall. Then you'll have to enter your username. So the admin needs to enter the username associated with their firewall service provider account. And the same goes for the password. Here the admin needs to enter the password that is associated with the firewall service provider account. And lastly, you'll just have to tap here on the save configuration button to save the configuration settings. Also, in your terminal, you can check the firewall status by running some commands. You can manually activate your firewall. You can basically auto firewall activation can be done using the setting up of the cron as well. So let me show you those commands as well before we proceed further. So for more details, you can check the user guide that I've attached within the description of this particular video for a better understanding, and the live demo would be coming soon for this, so I'll attach that as well in a while from now. So here you can see that you can check the firewall status by running the commands, and the admin can check the status of the firewall by running this particular command that you can see, that's the php bin /Magento DDoS protect status show. So that would basically check the status of the firewall by running this particular command there. You can also manually activate the firewall or disable it by running the command that you can see here, that's php bin /Magento DDoS protect status set space enable, and to disable you have to run the same command with a disable in the end. And we've also set up the auto firewall activation using the cron within this particular plugin. So further leveraging the cron in the Magento 2, the admin can save considerable time by setting cron, using which the firewall will be activated after a set interval of time. So you can run this particular command for that. And kindly note that moreover the admin can set the time interval of the cron frequency as well as required there. Now let's get back to the backend panel. So this was the configuration settings and the email options. You have to just configure these up and then tap on the save configuration button thereafter. Now let's check the front end, how when the customer accesses your website, what happens after that. So as per the admin configuration, as soon as one of the condition occurs, that is namely the average server load threshold or the RAM threshold, as a consequence one of the firewall is turned on and the URL of the website is hit only once, that is just for the first time when a user opens the website in their browser. And you can see the same here, we have hit the browser there, and the particular URL has been hit, and then we have accessed the Magento 2 web store by the customer there. So that was much about the Magento 2 distributed denial of service firewall protection plugin, and I hope it helped you out in understanding the workflow of the same. If you still have any questions, queries, suggestions or requirements, then kindly do reach back to us at support@webkul.com, raise a ticket at webkul.uvdesk.com. Apart from that, if you find this particular video helpful, then do kindly give it a thumbs up. And also do please subscribe to our channel to get the latest updates from our end. And lastly, thanks for watching this particular video and have a great day ahead.